Yo, what's up, guys? In this video, we are going to understand observer and decider. The observer is going to point or emphasize on information and how hidden information is going on. The decider is going to emphasize on the person itself. What does that look like? So here I have this person who's an observer covering this James Charles news.
Oh, what's up?
And here I have another person who's a decider covering the same news. See, April 1st, same news. But one is an observer, other is a decider. And notice the contrast. I will point out the differences. And it's going to be very interesting. So this person is called Angelica Oles. So you can subscribe to this. And this is T-Spill. Alright, so let's go.
Hey guys, so today's video is a one-topic video about James Charles because more stuff has been happening and I feel like it needs to be spoken about because it's starting to get a little bit concerning. I may say so myself. So before we get into it, my social media will be in the description along with my beauty channel. Subscribe, hit that bell, like, comment for engagement, or where is my inconvenience of the day?
So she does something called the inconvenience of the day, which is like you'll end up with an observer problem and you'll have like a bad day. So it's like a thing.
Hey, your candle doesn't burn properly. Like, you know when it gets like crooked and then you're only burning the middle but you're not burning the sides and you're like struggling because you're wasting half of the candle? Yeah, that's gonna happen to you. That's like my biggest inconvenience right now is my candle's burning wrong. Because we haven't left the house in like a year, so I'm like, oh, that's an inconvenience. So I'm trying to...
So starting the video with like an observer problem. This is like an observer problem, a problem with the thing, right? And this is one more thing you have to notice. Look at how she is like stopping the video to talk about something. Deciders don't do this. They don't like stop the thing they're talking about and then quickly go and talk about some observer thingy and then come back to their topic. So
I
notice
go in
that
like
too.
semi-chronological order, just things that have been like progressing slowly and then very quickly. So I'm gonna go from as I kind of saw the beginning of this whole thing again. So H3 tweeted out this saying, hey James Charles, found a position for you, and it was like now hiring, aka like, you know, the people that groom dogs, but like also alternate definition. Then we had a TikTok where Ethan basically said that, I think Phoebe's barking downstairs. That's unnecessary. Then he posted a TikTok where apparently all of his James Charles TikToks were being deleted. So it was almost like because James Charles is in the top 10 list of creators, he's somehow being protected by TikTok to not have him be accused of what he's being accused of because it looks bad on TikTok for having now what, 4 that are very famous.
Dude, I am so sick of making banger ass TikToks about James Charles and them getting removed for harassment. This has never happened about anyone else. I just made the most banger TikTok and it was removed in 9 minutes.
So then we have another accusation. And before I say anything, just leave a comment down below. How old do you think he is? Type in an age, press enter, and then we'll see what you guys think. Right? Alright. Okay, to me, he doesn't look anything above the age of 18. I'd say he looks about 16 to me at most. Like, I'm giving him 16 at most. I wouldn't look in his general direction for more than 10 seconds without feeling like a creep, without feeling like I should be in jail, without
So she's emphasizing on the age here. So notice that as well.
feeling uncomfortable. Very, very much uncomfortable. He also shows a conversation between him and James. So he started screenshotting conversations between him and James and posting them, and James got really mad. Again, we're seeing a pattern here. You know, there's James sending him a picture of himself saying, oh, okay, good night, cutie, with a little, you know, sad face. He made the guy send him a picture of him topless. I'm not going to show you any of that because once again, I feel like a creep. I feel uncomfortable if I do that. I feel uncomfortable looking at it, and it's like, it's happening. Okay, so there's a bunch of proof that James was messaging him. It's the official James account. Once again, undeniable proof. Like, I want to make that 100% undeniable proof that this is James Charles talking to someone below the age of 18. And let me just reiterate the law. In most countries, it does not matter if they lie to you about their age. It does not matter if you don't ask for the age or if you're not aware of the age. The fact that someone is below the age of 18 is enough to have you convicted. I want to make that 100% clear. I don't want to hear any comments. Well, I don't want to read any comments. Well, he lied to James. Well, he didn't.
Notice the emphasis on this, right? That him not giving the age and how she's emphasizing this. I will show you the exact same thing when T-Spill talks about. It's like few seconds, that's it.
Ask about the age, so like he doesn't know. That's not how the law works. If I say that I don't know that murder is illegal as an excuse for murder, the judge in the court will laugh in my face because not knowing something is not an excuse for doing it, okay? Once again, ask for ID. If they send you a picture of proof of ID and it comes out that they are actually below the age of whatever the ID said because it's, I don't know, a fake ID, none of us would have a problem with that. We'd be like, oh my god, that is so sad for James. We'll feel really bad for James that he got duped by someone, even though he was being super careful. But when you're not being super careful, there is no excuse for us. So we're all just getting angry because there is no excuse. We can't make any excuses for you. Because like I said, if it was a fake ID situation, even though...
The fake ID situation. So here's like you're tampering with the information through fake ID, right? So this is like an observer perspective. You're tampering with the information. Yeah. So she's saying even if you tamper with the information, that still doesn't justify.
That's still technically illegal. We would all collectively probably be like, it kind of sucks that someone would do that to you. It sucks that someone would like pull you in with a fake ID and then turns out it's a fake ID. People in clubs sometimes take fake IDs. And like, yeah, they could lose their job for it. But we still feel bad because it's like, oh, it's a fake ID.
You messed with the information and I can understand that. You know, that's like the observer perspective. Because you feel helpless there. What you gonna do? You know?
How are you supposed to know? Anyway, we'd have more of an excuse if it was a fake ID. But the fact that you didn't even attempt to ask, attempt to know.
So if a fake ID was there, you would have more excuse. Yeah. But you didn't even ask, so you didn't even ask the information, and that's the problem.
You didn't want to know, right? Because you were just like, let me just talk to the guy. I don't want to know if you're below the age of 18. So strange. So
you're not getting the information, right? So this is like the first part. Let's watch this. T-Spill, who's a decider, how she talks about this.
Guys, today we have to talk about James Charles because he once again is being called out for sending messages to people under the age of 18, if you know what I mean. It's a mess, so let's get into it.
Exposed. Exposed. You're exposed. You're exposed. You are exposed.
Exposed, sir. Oh my god.
Exposed, 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 exposed. You are exposed, sir. I'm gonna expose you. Expose you.
It's like,
oh my god, expose you.
So here we are once again for what, the third time this year, speaking about the same subject about the same person. This was a conversation 2 years ago before By Sister. More on that later, and it's still a conversation 2 years later because the same behavior is still happening. Def Noodles on Twitter posted a screenshot of a TikTok from this guy who definitely isn't 18, claiming they were speaking to James. This boy posted all the screenshots of their messages, and it's literally like a copy and paste of last time. So he posted a few screenshots from James just to show that these are real, and James was talking to him very flirty. In one of the messages, James says, "Aw, okay, good night, cutie," with a sad little pouty face, and the other one says, "That would be so cute," with another weird face. Then, on November 29th, 2020, James messaged the guy, "LOL, happy birthday." Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're saying happy birthday to someone, you know their age, right? Well, fast forward to nearly a month later, on December 11th, 2020, James messages the boy and says, "What the is your problem? Posting screenshots of my snaps on your private story? I strongly recommend that you keep my name out of your mouth, or we're gonna have a major problem." So I'm guessing this guy, who is clearly a James Charles fan, got all excited that he was talking to his idol and posted proof for his friends on his private story. Now, I could see if you were in an appropriate relationship and
Notice what she's like talking about. You know, the age thing she just came, but notice what she's talking about. What is like the meat of the content, you know?
this guy you were talking to posted all your personal conversations online. That would be weird.
That's weird.
But this is a teenager with a teenager mind. James then goes on to say, "I'd love to remind you that you're the one that called me cute and said that you're and into me." Once again, this is just repeat behavior of James Charles, the adult, the 22-year-old, blaming high schoolers. The boy then goes on to say, "Hold up," and then James says, "Get a life and respect people's privacy."
So the entire conversation, this entire video is about the conversation between this guy and James, right? In that video, it wasn't the case. It was like some random guy and James, but the thing was the age, they didn't ask the age. But here it's like she's going into like the decider drama. So what I call decider drama.
See. And the boy says, we already talked about this. And James says, that's a complete lie, you idiot. You're backpedaling because you got caught. And then the boy responds, no bad intentions whatsoever. And James says, don't ever speak about me again. I added you and minded my own business until you called me cute and started flirting with me saying you were bi. People who can't respect privacy are the lowest of low. And then the boy says to James, I completely understand that. And James says, you clearly do not understand. And then the boy responds, I never intended anything bad by posting that. And if anyone says you did do something wrong, I can assure you that you did not. And James says, I know I didn't. You did by violating my privacy. Get your friend in line before I do.
See, that age thing was like 5 seconds. She's not even like, she just glossed over it. Oh, she's texting a teenager, but here's the thing, right? Here, 4 minutes in, and we'll still be talking about age and the privacy and stuff like that.
About your age to bait someone is against the law, by the way. What's also against the law is not asking for ID. In fact, actually, if you even have to ask for ID because it's that questionable, you need to rethink where your mind is because I'm concerned. So the boy goes on to say to James, I didn't delete anything in which messages. And James says, the messages of you admitting you lied about your age. I saved them and they're gone. And the boy says, I don't know, but I can promise you I didn't delete anything. So why is this still happening?
That's it. She just told things and boom, gone, So let's go to the Observer video and watch this. That's it. That's all the age part is there.
After this whole thing happened where he started posting the conversations between him and James said, what the F is your problem? Posting screenshots of my snaps to you on your private story. I strongly recommend that you keep my name out of your mouth or we're going to have a major problem. You know who's going to have a major problem, James? You. For talking to people below the age of 18.
See how she's emphasizing that?
I don't think it's the minor that's going to have an issue here. I am getting so heated because I've been giving James the benefit of the doubt for like 4 videos now. And that tells you about how many accusations we've had. I think this is like the 5th guy in a matter of 2 months? Every other drama channel has been unfollowed by James on Twitter already. They're losing their like James Charles follow privileges, and I feel like my one is pending anytime soon now. So, he sends a screenshot of the guy posting on his private story. I'd love to remind you that you are the one that called me cute and said you were went into me. He's a minor. You called me cute. And you're talking to a child. I'm sorry. I feel like we're just missing the point here. We're missing the point. We're missing it. Then he says, the child says, hold up. And James says, get a life and respect people's privacy. James, respect the law. Respect the law. Then the child says, we already talked about this. And James says, that's a complete lie, you idiot. You're backpedaling because you got caught. Yes, the child got caught, not you got caught talking to a child yet again. Once again, point, we're missing it. Then he says, no bad intentions whatsoever. James says, don't ever speak to me again. No, don't ever speak about me again. I added you and minded my own business until you called me cute and started flirting with me saying you were bi. All because of you meddling kids. This really feels like a Scooby-Doo episode. I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids. People who can't respect privacy are the lowest of the low. Point. We're missing it. He says, the teenager, let's call him a teenager. Child feels a little bit condescending. The teenager, because I don't want to say any of these people's names. I always feel like I want to respect their privacy. I don't want to show their names. I barely want to show their face. Like, I understand they put themselves out there publicly to talk about these accusations. Everything feels icky talking about these actual teenagers as a full-grown adult. Me, full-grown.
Yeah, how she's like emphasizing that. You have to like notice like how she's telling the news and then she's stopping her narration of the news to tell something important. What is that?
An adult talking about these teenagers. Because I remember like looking back on what I was like when I was like 4.
You will notice that when people talk, they'll be telling a story and then they will stop to quickly tell about something else. I will show you another video at the end of this video. to like even highlight that point even further.
15, 16. If a 20-something-year-old wanted to date me, I'd be very much concerned because I was still watching Disney Channel. So, like, concerning, to say the least. He goes, I completely understand that. Just being super just like, oh my god, like, I didn't realise I wasn't supposed to do that. I bet he was just really happy to be talking to James Charles because he's famous. So I bet he just posted on his private story to be like, oh my god, I'm talking.
So this is like double deciding. She's like double deciding on behalf of the kid, right? Oh, this is probably what the kid is thinking. It's probably what James was thinking. You know, it's like double deciding.
James Charles. But James Charles is getting very defensive. Is it because privacy or is it because, oh my god, I got caught talking to a child? James goes, you clearly do not understand. Once again, not understanding the law. Then the teen says, I never intended anything bad by posting that, and if anyone says you did do something wrong, I can assure you that you did not. Obviously, he doesn't understand the law because he's a teenager. He's like, I don't think you're doing anything wrong. And James says, I know I didn't. You did by violating my privacy. No, James, you did do something wrong by messaging someone below the age of 18 in a romantic, flirty manner, and then saying it was their fault because they were the ones flirting with you, as if you're not the adult in the situation. I'm so what? We're putting all the blame on the teenager for being, I don't know, blinded by like a famous person talking to them. Isn't that literally how every story ever happens? It's adults, famous adults talking to teenagers and then blaming the teenagers for talking to them, as if the adult is not the responsible one in this situation. I'm so confused. He posts more proof about how the guy is like posting this publicly, and he says, get your effing friend in line before I do. Lying about your age to bait someone is against the law, by the way, and so is talking to someone below the age of 18, even if they lied to you. This quite literally works both ways. Quite literally works both ways. And who are they more likely to convict? A child for lying about their age, or an adult with multiple accusations of...
So you see, we are 8 minutes in and she's still talking about the age thingy. I mean, this is like, you have to like notice this. Or this stuff like this, you know. It's like, it's unsaid the way they type in OPS. If you like notice stuff like this.
Talking to people below the age of 18. I know the answer, but you let me know your answer. He says, I didn't delete anything, and which messages? I'm assuming there was some kind of a message missing there. The messages of you admitting you lied about your age, I saved them and they're gone. I don't know, but I can promise you I didn't delete anything. So that's the conversation. So he since then has deleted the TikTok, and the police has got involved. Apparently his parents told him to delete the TikTok because it's now getting more serious. Since then, James has teased that he's posting a video with people like Gabriel Zamora and Manny MUA, which is really strange because I wouldn't want to associate with that kind of a situation, but I guess they don't have an issue with it. I don't know. His name is on trending, so James Charles, I think there's like 60,000 tweets about this right now, most of them with like 20,000 likes. There's tweets such as this gem, James Charles, they lied to me about their age, the minor in question. It's like, I'm sorry, but if you visually look at someone and you feel the
She's
need
still
to
stuck
ask
on
for an
that
ID,
information.
they are too young for
How
me.
are you missing this
If I
information?
look at someone and I go, they could be an adult, but also could not be. Too young for me. Too young. No. Way too young. Ethan says James Charles is a predator, just trying to get his name trending. Let's go. James Charles, he said he was 18. The child in question.
I love this.
A fetus. A fetus. The boy in the TikTok looked like a boy. Like, I wouldn't describe him as a man. A guy, I would say the boy. Because to someone above the age of like 18, that's a boy. T-Spill posts, the thing I don't understand about the James Charles situation is how a 21-year-old finds that attractive. Like, how do you find...
That's it. So T-Spill, the channel, she's going after James, right? This person is like going after that age thinking. Let's
I
watch.
know this was back in December, but it's not even that long ago. And sure, you can make the argument all you want that this person lied about their age and was probably doing it for attention from James. But here's the thing. James could avoid all of this by not messaging fans. It's literally as simple as that. I see so many sisters with little James Charles icons on Twitter trying to say that these fans are in the wrong because they lied about their age. Yet the true tea is, James is the adult in this situation. As the adult, James holds a responsibility to protect those who aren't adults. As the influencer, James holds a responsibility not to use his power and to protect his fans. You can't blame someone with an underdeveloped mind for reaching out to their favorite person, their role model, and
Underdeveloped mind. Notice how she's like talking about the kids. It's very human, you know, as in, like, it's very like a human. She's talking about like a human, right?
trying to get attention from them. At this point, it's just a pattern, and just like James said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But what happens when it's a third, a fourth, a fifth time, and all the times we probably don't even know about? Is it shame on you, or is it jail? Anyways, the guy that James was talking to actually had to delete his video where he called James out because apparently the police contacted his parents and it seems like it's being handled offline. James has been pretty silent about everything, but while the situation was literally trending on Twitter, James was liking pictures of his BFF, Kylie Jenner. Literally not bothered at all. And that's once again been a pattern with James. For the past few weeks, despite being called out time and time again, he's been living his best life doing collab videos with people like Gabriel Zamora and Manny MUA, promoting his palette, and just not having a care in the world. Speaking of his palette...
So she's going after James. Like this entire video, she's going after the James, right?
Morphe actually posted his palette on Instagram literally today, telling people to go buy it. They wrote, restock the iconic Morphe x James Artistry palette is back in stock on Morphe.com. The post was quickly deleted within like 2 hours because they were getting dragged in the comments. It's just crazy to me how brands treat certain influencers different than others. Morphe dropped Laura Lee, Jeffree Star, and Shane Dawson so fast, yet here's James getting away with everything. Yet we have
James
people like
Colby
Carson
everything.
who got called out for the exact same stuff, and he's completely off the internet. So why is James Charles treated so differently? And more importantly, why are brands and influencers afraid to...
So here the context is why is James Charles treated differently? That's the question she's trying to answer. You know, whereas in the Observer video, this one, she's trying to answer how can you miss the information? You know, how can you like not ask about the information and stuff like that? So let's watch this even more.
say anything. I actually have a pretty good idea why. Think back to 2 years ago when Tati dropped her Bye Sister video. James went from being the most loved influencer to losing 3 million subscribers overnight. Tati brought up a lot of amazing points in her video. The problem was the video wasn't done in the right way. You can't talk about something so petty and trivial, such as a friend not promoting your vitamins, and lump it in with allegations. I'm sure Tati had her reasonings, but the public is going to see that as, oh, here's this person who's much older than James getting mad at something so petty, so she's trying to bring down his career. And that's exactly what happened, and exactly what James used to pull the Uno reverse card in No More Lies. The entire internet flipped overnight, and the narrative went from, if you don't talk about James, you're protecting him, to if you talked about James Charles, apologize right now, you're horrible, poor 19-year-old James. That's why influencers and brands are so terrified to speak up right now, because the internet switches so quickly. Angelica Oles is another drama channel that...
It's so funny. This person is referencing that person is referencing this person.
Was pretty much pushed off Twitter only a few months ago by people telling her that she needed to apologize to James for her video on Bye Sister. She tweeted, "For anyone saying I've been letting James off easy in my videos, was I not being called out by commentary YouTubers and people on Twitter for my videos during Bye Sister? Was I not being called out for that like a month ago? Can't blame me for being careful." That's another thing. Tati was called...
So notice how the video's like switching. It's like switching between like people, you know. First it was James Charles, then she's talking about this person, now she's talking about Tati. Here she's 10 minutes she's only talking about the information. That's it. The age, this guy didn't get it, But here it's like the spotlight is like switching between this person, then this person, then this person.
And literally pushed off the platform for 2 years now because of how James tried to turn things around. The part that really gets me is the fact that while everyone was dealing with the backlash for calling James out, while Tati was dealing with the aftermath, James continued the same behavior that almost cost him his career. Let me repeat that. While everyone was getting dragged for calling James out for said behavior was being continued for 2 years. While we're on the topic of Tati, I know she posted a video last year apologizing to James and saying that she was on speaking terms with him, and a lot of people feel like, well, if Tati saw what she saw, there's no way she would ever go back on her word, so she must have lied. I think it's actually quite the opposite. When you have the entire internet telling you that you're wrong, dragging you for trying to ruin a 19-year-old, making excuses for the behavior that Tati talked about, telling you that your career is over, you start to question your own memory, I would think. The best way I can try and describe it, and I know this is going to be an extreme example, but hear me out. You know those true crime shows where they have an interrogation where the person being interrogated is innocent, but the detectives think he's guilty, and they question this person for hours on end and instill in their mind that they're a bad person and that they did something wrong? They start to believe it. If I had to guess, I think that's similar to what happened with Tati. She had the whole internet telling her that she was wrong. She had the whole internet telling her how bad she was for Bai's sister. I think she started to believe it. So that's just my takeaway on the situation. I'm sorry guys, I know I went off on a little bit of a rant because this
So yeah, what is she ranting about? Oh, she went on a little bit on a rant. But what is she like talking about? Some information. This guy is hiding this thing. The ID was messed up. No, right? She's talking about the people, Tati, James, some other this 19-year-old. That's
It's
it.
just all so crazy to me. Anyways, people are now digging up old clips and it's not looking good.
Talk to guys that live in different states and stuff, and I'm like, hey, like, why don't you come visit? And like, well, I can't afford a plane ticket.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, I can. So like, get on the
Nice.
plane. And like, well, I just don't really feel comfortable with that. But like, I love you and I really want to be together. And I'm like, well, we can't be together because you can't afford a plane ticket. You're probably still in either high school or college, like a senior in high school or in college.
Right.
So like, either you accept the flight and realize that like this is what I'm bringing to the relationship, so we can spend time together if you actually care about me.
Yep.
Or we literally never meet because you can't afford it.
That's right.
Even Insider posted an article about weird influencer to fan relationships, saying relationships between influencers and their fans are inherently problematic, experts say. It goes on to say several influencers have faced criticism for past online and offline relationships with fans. James Charles was recently accused of sending photos to a romantic relationships between celebrities and their fans always have a stark power dynamic. Yes, a power dynamic. That's what James Charles
Power
needs to
dynamic.
realize. That clip I played for you guys a few seconds ago where James slipped up and said high school guys and then corrected himself to high school seniors is so weird to me. How is a 21-year-old turning 22 even interested in people still stuck in school from 9 to 3? You're a celebrity with millions of dollars, a house, multi-million-dollar brand deals, you're friends with people like Kylie Jenner, you have a massive audience. How can you in any way relate to someone in high school? Anyways guys, let me know what you think about everything down below. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button because
So this is T-Spill, and this is like she'll still be talking about. Let's finish off with
Someone
this
that
video.
looks that young attractive, that's concerning. That boy looks like he's about to go off and start his first day of high school, at best to me. Exactly. Now since then, YouTube has implemented a new thing again. Do you see how they always
So what is she talking about? TikTok, right? Remember she's talking about TikTok, YouTube,
implement
and
stuff
this
whenever
age
James
thing.
Charles is being cancelled? So the first time James Charles got cancelled, he lost almost 3 million subs in one day, and we were all having a Social Blade party, right, live streaming his sub count. And since then, YouTube has abbreviated sub count so that they don't show on live counts, so that we can't celebrate someone losing subs. That was the whole thing, and Social Blade had to really like maneuver around all of this. And basically, Social Blade as a website became kind of irrelevant. Now, James Charles is once again going through a situation, and YouTube is now implementing a thing where a lot of videos will not show how many dislikes they have, only how many likes they have. So you will see basically like, I don't know, 1,000 likes, and then it will just say dislikes. And you as a creator behind the scenes can see how many dislikes a video has, but other people publicly won't see it. And this isn't being implemented across the board, it's only being given to like a handful.
So what is bothering her? This thing that YouTube is implementing that is hiding the information of the dislikes in a video. Yeah, and she's talking about that. Same news, same.
Of creators for now, just to try it out, and then if it works, they'll implement it for everyone. A bit strange, is that like preparing for like an apology video or something? Like, oh, we don't want to show the dislikes. And Eddie Burback, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. He's like a huge creator. He replied to that and said, why is it that whenever a creator you prop up gets into hot water, James Charles with people unsubbing and Dobrik now, you fundamentally change the site for everyone? Who is this for? I like the fact that you can see how many likes and dislikes something has. That's the whole point of the dislike button being there. Why would you even keep the dislike button there if it's going to lose all of its functionality? You might as well just cut it out completely. Just cut it out completely if you don't want it there. Why would we need to know behind the scenes how many dislikes something has? If it's not going to show publicly, you might as well just get rid of the whole thing. Just keep likes. Do the Twitter, Instagram, TikTok thing. Just likes, nothing else. Chris Clemens posted a tweet saying, ugh, my dog needs a haircut. Could use some good recommendations since Google is of no help. And he Googled grooming, but James Charles' pictures popped up, if that makes sense. Definitely was tweeted out saying, quick summary of every time James Charles got exposed for allegedly having inappropriate contact with a minor. First time, fool me once, shame on you. Second time, fool me once, shame on you. Third time, fool me once, shame on you. Fourth time, fool me once, shame on you. Phoebe is having a meltdown downstairs. Ethan Klein tweeted out saying James Charles be like, he said he was 18. Adam McIntyre, for reference, since you're failing to understand, at James Charles, this is what you looked like at the age of all your alleged victims who are coming forward against you saying that you've been with them or trying to flirt, date. You see the problem now? And this is the said picture of James Charles at the age that he is now targeting. Strange. Then we have this clip of Impulsive where James slips up. Now tell me what you guys think about this.
I've talked to guys that live in different states and stuff, and I'm like, hey, like, why don't you come visit? And like, well, I can't afford a plane ticket.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, I can. So like, get on the plane. And like, well, I just don't really feel comfortable with that. But like, I love you and I really want to be together. And I'm like, well, we can't be together because you can't afford a plane ticket. You're probably still in either high school or college, like a senior in high school or in college.
Right.
So like, either you accept the flight and realize that like this is what I'm bringing to the
This guy's
relationship,
like-
so we can spend time together if you actually care about me,
Yep.
or we literally never meet.
Even senior year. You've been out of high school for how long now? 3 years?
Remember in that
And your dating pool is high school?
remember in that video she like spoke about it and then started speaking about Tati and stuff, right? In this video,
I understand college. High school. Him even correcting to seniors in high school. No. Then there was a TikTok being posted of the same accusation as during By Sister, where apparently he was catfishing guys in his high school to send him inappropriate pictures. So he was catfishing as a girl to get the guys in his high school to send him inappropriate pictures.
Is it just me, or does like everybody from the 518 just know that James Charles catfished his whole high school soccer team for all their and like nobody ever says anything? Like, I've never seen it really go, like, publicly or anything, but I've talked to so many people in the 518 about, like, James Charles, and they're like, oh my god, you know the catfish situation? Like, we all know it, but all the people from his hometown just don't say anything. Like, what?
And that's popping up again from a different person. So it's different people with the same accusation. It's starting to, add up. Obviously, he's been kicked off Instant Influencer. Apparently, it's because they're not doing beauty anymore. They're doing other creators, but, like, it's actually his show. He got kicked off his show. There must be a reason behind it. So far, there's been no response from James, no consequences. He's not losing subs. He's not gaining subs either, but he's not losing subs. He hasn't tweeted about this. He's posting like normal liking tweets and
so
stuff.
he
like
did make an
normal. He's
apology
just
video or
not
whatever. Honestly, I don't
minding his
care.
own
But
business. He's not saying anything. There's been an insider article written by Lindsay saying relationships between influencers and their fans are inherently problematic, experts say. As like an analysis bit, several influencers have faced criticism for past online and offline relationships with fans. James Charles...
so she's like breezing over this information. It's like a decided thing, right? And she's like breezing over it. Whereas the T-Spill lady, she was emphasizing this.
Was recently accused
To
of sending
remember.
explicit photos to a minor. Romantic relationships between celebrities and their fans always have a stark power dynamic, mainly when there's such an age gap. And by age gap, I mean minors and non-minors. So the first thing is just YouTube star James Charles has faced allegations of inappropriate behavior with fans since late February. No, since By Sister, but like, yes, the most recent ones since February. But actually, this has been happening since By Sister. After he was accused of a 16-year-old boy, Charles denied wrongdoing by saying the fan lied about his age and sent Charles to images first, to which he flirted back. Since then, other accusers have come forward with allegations that Charles hasn't addressed. The claims highlight a new phenomenon involving Hollywood's new class of 20-something power brokers. Through social media, influencers have unfettered access to a pool of eager fans, and in some cases, this has resulted in relationships virtually or physically. Now we're talking about Zoe Laverne, Tony Lopez, Andreas Lopez, and now James Charles. All the biggest TikTok people. Now, people have been kind of trying to decipher who has been unfollowing him. So people thought that Kylie Jenner, Kourtney Kardashian, Kris Jenner, and someone else have unfollowed him. Now, that can't be confirmed because I went on their social blades, and on social blade you can see, if you like type in the Instagram handle, you can see who they've followed and who has followed them, if that makes sense. Like, not exactly who, but how many. For everyone except for Kylie Jenner, it says 0 or +1, so they haven't unfollowed anyone, or they have unfollowed people but followed the same amount, so it balanced out to 0 at the end of the day. I think it was Kylie Jenner that had a -1 yesterday, but that could be anyone, really. And it says +2 on the day that I'm filming this, but in reality she could have unfollowed, I don't know, 3 people and then followed 5 people, so it would end up being +2. So she could have unfollowed James, but she could have also not unfollowed James. But he's not being followed on Instagram by Chris, Kim, Chloe, or Kylie. But we don't know if that's been like a constant thing or if that's now. Now, since then, other accusations have come out, aka him saying that Faye's sway looks really good when he was like 16 in that picture. Faye's rug has liked multiple tweets about this. He's liked a tweet from Trisha saying James Charles deserves prison. I really hope one of these parents press charges. It's so nauseating. I'm physically nauseous. And he's so about getting away with it all. And then he liked Ethan's quote tweet of a Deaf Noodles tweet saying James Charles caught with yet another 15-year-old boy. I swear to God, you guys is getting ridiculous. Call anyone out that associates with this man. I am losing my mind. Then we have this Keem tweet. James Charles, he lied about his age, said he was 18.
In the entire 18 minutes, she's talking about age. Entire 18 minutes. Can you believe that? It's crazy. And this person is talking about just people. Tati, 11 minutes, you know. It's
a picture of a baby. And since then, right, since all of this has happened, another accusation has come out. A guy talking about his friend being DM'd by him on Instagram. And the guy was like 16. How many more do we need? How many more do we need? Maybe Tati was right all along. Maybe we ran Tati off the platform because James filmed the No More Lies video in which he actually provided no evidence against any of these claims. Do we remember this video? Because I'm pretty sure he provided no evidence against these claims, but we all believed him because Uno reverse card, it was a cool video. But did he actually provide evidence for him not doing any of this? Or did he just say, Tati lying, Jeffree Shane have it out to get me? I'm not accusing of anything because I don't want this to be another bi-sister situation, but at the same time, how many more accusations do we need?
That's the note she's ending.
Say that this is
she's ending off the video with, right? So
how many minors are you going to DM before it stops being an accident and starts being a choice? That many under 18 boys. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below.
So giving a thumbs up, right? So hit that like button, hit the subscribe. And so I hope you guys understand how exactly to type someone in, at least how I type someone, observer or decider. You kind of like observe, you have to like go meta on their conversation and think about what they are talking about, the context of the situation, you know. If you get wrapped up in the content, that's it, it's game over. You have to think about the context. What is she talking about? Where is she coming from? Right? I hope this helped you guys in any way. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think.